You know what, after that whole Apple arm thing, my crystal ball feels pretty in sync, so let's take on a new challenge. What up guys, how are you doing? This is a Samsung Galaxy Fold, as you can tell by the way it folds. Fancy, isn't it? Except it's so 2019. Sure, it has 5 cameras and 2 batteries and 2 screens, but the front one is tiny, and I thought we could do something fun. You see, looking at it like this, it's just a Samsung Galaxy Fold. However, if I do this, we get some tracking dots and a chroma key ability. So what happens if we replace this? Well, we can turn this, a Samsung Galaxy Fold, into this, the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2. And while we do that, why don't we talk about the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2, exactly what we expect from it, and just how it might look. I just want to mention very really quickly, all of my technical jiggery-pokery hasn't accounted for the fact that the screen is actually expected to be a bit larger because it's supposed to be wider as well as taller. So the size isn't quite in scale, but it's most of the way there. This is also based primarily off of renderings I've seen of the leaks. So obviously design isn't final because I'm not Samsung. The only way we'll know what it actually looks like is when it's announced by Samsung in either August or September, but definitely at some point later this year. So let's start with the first thing you see, that front screen. On the Samsung Galaxy Fold, it looks like an iPhone 3GS, like it's all bezel, baby. The Fold 2, however, is expected to bring it up to 2018 standards with a full front display. Those big bezels will be completely gone, and what we'll be left with is a 6.23-inch 2267 by 819 screen. That resolution is slightly higher than 720p, but maybe more importantly, will also come at 60 Hz. On the back, expect a similar camera array to either the Samsung Galaxy S20 or the Note 20, because when you look at them, like, the Fold clearly just stole the cameras directly off the back of a Note 10. So expect the Fold 2 to do the same. But how about the inside? And not the inside, but like the inside screen, you know, when you want like that inside? Well, here's where the great stuff happens. That inside screen will no longer have the notch along the right-hand side and will instead have a cutout. And on top of that, will feature a 7.59-inch 2213 by 1698 display with not a 60 Hz refresh rate, but a 120 Hz refresh rate. Now, this is the thing that was the most technically challenging to show to you guys, because this is a 30 frame per second video, so I can only show 30 Hz. However, I did some tests and I think I've kind of figured it out. What we have here is 2 sets of scrolling happening. The scrolling on the right hand side is happening at 60 Hz and the scrolling on the left hand side is happening at 120 Hz. Now, at regular speed, they should look practically identical. However, if we slow them down to 25% speed, you will see a bit of a difference, and if we slow it down even more, that difference becomes larger. It's really hard to show off the difference of 120 Hz on camera. It's not like a visual difference, but it is. But it's like you feel it more than you see it. Going from 60 Hz to 120 Hz feels quite small. Like all the animations are smoother, everything's a little bit snappier. But it's that jump back down from 120 back down to 60 that feels massive. On something like a gaming display, that feels huge, but it's different. On a touchscreen, touch is how you're interacting with it, and that refresh rate is critical. A 120 Hz screen, as well as being buttery smooth, also feels like it's glued to your finger, and it makes the device feel way more responsive. That being said, to properly experience 120 Hz, you should definitely check one out in person when you can, but I can't describe the difference between 120 Hz and 60 Hz to you in a video at 30 frames per second. You just have to trust me and then go and experience it in person just to see how incredible it feels. It is worth noting that like either the iPhone 12 or the 12S is also expected to have 120 Hz, if not at least 90. So there will be some level of ProMotion. Is that what they call it? I think that's what they call it. It's ProMotion. So yeah, expect some form of ProMotion in the iPhone come September. Now, the biggest talking point and the biggest point of debate has been S Pen and whether or not the Fold 2 will include one. Unfortunately, I think it's just too soon, and here's why. Samsung's latest foldable, the Galaxy Z Flip, has a layer of UTG or ultra-thin glass. It's so thin, however, it needs a layer of polymer or plastic on top to prevent it from basically breaking. What that means is because it's plastic, it will scratch if you use an S Pen. So I don't imagine Samsung shipping an S Pen with a Fold 2. I do, however, imagine seeing it with a Fold 3 because honestly, like even just this Fold with an S Pen, hang on, let me grab one. When I had my hands on with this device, like when it first launched, my biggest feedback was that it needed S Pen support. And I mean it now more than ever because honestly, like it just goes, it just needs it. But I think the Fold 3 will be where it's at. I still haven't gotten over this, by the way. That feels so wrong. And interestingly, Samsung are looking to bring down the price of the Fold 2. As well as the fact there'll be a 256GB version, there will also be a 4G version, and we will see a version of the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2 that's cheaper than the Samsung Galaxy Fold. And here's why that makes sense. You see, Samsung have already recouped a large amount of their R&D costs with the original Galaxy Fold, which means they can bring down the price. And by bringing down the price, it'll be available to more people. But just how much lower is it expected to go? Well, that price is currently up in the air, but I would expect it to be somewhere around the £1,500 mark. But why? Well, £1,500 puts it quite close to an iPhone 11 Pro. And so, if it does start at £1,500, then pricing is already basically the same as the iPhone 11 Pro line, with the Max Spec Pro Max costing even more. Not only that, but if Samsung include Galaxy Buds Plus or their weird bean-shaped Galaxy Buds in the box, then it's actually a really great value because it comes with really nice Bluetooth headphones. What the hell is that? Because it comes with really nice Bluetooth headphones. When I got hands-on time with a Samsung Galaxy Fold, what I said was that I really loved it, and if I'd been given one for free, I'd have taken it, but I wasn't gonna buy one. And I kind of stand by that still. I said that the Galaxy Fold 3 was the device that would interest me most, and if the price was low enough, then I'd probably pull the trigger on it. And seeing the jump between Galaxy Fold and Galaxy Fold 2, I'm still completely in that camp. The foldable phone sector has quite some way to go. It was literally introduced last year, and I am super excited to where it goes, because honestly, all of these phones are basically the same at this point, and as great as that is, I need some excitement in my life. The part that I'm really interested in from a usability point of view is actually the weight. Like the Samsung Galaxy Fold is quite heavy, and the Fold 2 is expected to be approximately 15% lighter, which actually makes a huge difference for one-handed use whilst the device is folded. This phone has like a weightiness to it, and as I said in my video originally, like you could really use it as a bludgeoning tool. It's got this nice metal hinge, and you could really whack someone with it. A slimming down to 229 grams, as well as the bigger screen, could serve to be a massive boost to usability whilst folded. And I think that'll be the legacy of the Fold 2 and eventually the Z Flip 2 also, because the Fold and the Z Flip are both really cool devices to use unfolded, but when folded up, feel like a bit of a lost opportunity. And the other thing I'm partially excited about is the idea of a slightly smaller crease. Like the crease exists, it's definitely there, I'm not going to deny that, and I did find my brain forgetting about it quite quickly, but it's there, and I'd be really happy if it wasn't. Samsung said with a Z Flip that the reason they kept the crease in and the reason it was pre-baked is because if they didn't, the crease formed over time, so by pre-baking it, people had that expectation there, as opposed to it slowly appearing over time and feeling like their device was breaking. And as much as I understand that argument, something about a smooth folding screen feels 1,000,000% better than a creased folding screen, even though they're basically the same thing. So there it is, that is my expectations when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2. What do you guys think? This has been a very different video from normal. There was a lot more video work that went in, like the process of making this all look the way it does was surprisingly complicated and took me days to dial in perfectly. But I'm really happy with the result. So if you liked it, please hit like, please leave a comment, please subscribe, because it would honestly mean a huge amount. And if you know someone who's really into tech, maybe share it with them, because they might love seeing the Fold 2 also. If you didn't like this video, why are you here? What? Check out this video because it's about Apple, so maybe you'll like that? I don't know. And I'll see you guys next time.